Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video and something completely unexpected. So, as you guys may or may not know, a couple of days ago, I got a very last minute call up to the F1 Esports Challengers Series. And to be fair, it was a complete surprise to me. And it was a challenge that I was willing to accept. A very last minute kind of replacement. There was, I think, 6 drivers ahead of me on the reserve list, and none of them were able to compete. So I was drafted in at the last minute, and I was debuting some new camera settings. I'd done about half an hour to 45 minutes of practice, and we're racing around Silverstone and Spa here today. So 2 races, 2 25% races, and I can't lie, I wasn't feeling super confident because of the lack of practice, but I'm going to give it my best shot. You can see already I've invalidated on my first qualifying lap, and that's just a sign of lack of practice. But in qualifying in itself, this was my best lap in qualifying, so we're going to go on board for a full lap of Silverstone, and we're going to see what I managed to do with about 30 minutes of practice for this track. We did about 15 worth of practice for Spa, because I did a league race around there not too long ago. But here we go, through turn 1 this time, not invalidating, making our way down towards turn 3. Trying to brake as late as possible, carrying the speed across the apex, and then back on the throttle to open up turn 4. This is a corner where I really struggle with, and I lose a lot of time to everybody else. I lose about 2/10 between turns 3 and 4 alone, so I need to work on that first sector. But on this particular lap, we are half a tenth up. Braking hard at Brooklyn, down at the 50-meter ball down to 5th gear, then possibly 4th to get a bit more rotation, then into Luffield, holding it in 4th gear to keep the car nice and stable, getting the power down on the exit there as we use all of the exit curb. Now carrying the speed through Woodcut onto the old pit straight, down towards Copse Corner. And at this stage, I was getting a little bit frustrated about the car ahead not moving out of the way. He was starting to get in my way a little bit here. I thought he'd move over here, but he decided to stay in front, which wasn't ideal. Just a small distraction, but we managed to get the car through Maggots, Beckett's, and Chapel. Not really attacking it too aggressively. There was definitely a bit of time left on the table there, but still not too bad of a lap as we now make our way down towards Stowe. We're going to brake as the curb pretty much appears on the left-hand side. 6th gear, carry all the speed, and then use all the exit curb, making our way down towards the heavy brake zone of the Val chicane, 3rd gear, and then quickly flip the car right. Make sure you get the power down as soon as possible out of here as we run the car up to the line, and we set a lap time of a 1:23.9 and go P9 at the time, which wasn't too bad. I do believe there was at least another 2/10 in the lap, so possibly a high 0.6 or a very low 0.7, but I didn't really get the chance to do that. You can see here, everyone's getting ready for their final qualifying runs, and I was more focused on the traffic. And the very last second here, you'll see on the minimap, I get a warning from behind saying that Josh Idawu is coming through in a lap, so I had to move out of the way. But as a result, it completely ruined the start of my lap. You'll see in the delta in the top right, I just had such a bad exit, and I'm already almost half a tenth down. Through turn 1 though, unfortunately again, I'm validated, so yeah, I let Alessio Di Capua go by because he was starting lap as well. And yeah, overall, a bit of a mess, to be honest. I think that last sequence didn't work out too well. And a shame because there was more pace in the car. Having said that, my best lap probably would have only been good enough for P9. So looking at that, I feel like P13 isn't too bad. So yeah, overall, you can see the final qualifying results. Alessio Di Capua P1, Patrick Sipos in 2nd, Josh Idawu P3 ahead of Nicolas Mateo, Atte Kalpanen P5 ahead of Ruben Vallejo. Then we've got Ben Zabo Konyi P7 ahead of Jan Fehler, Sven Canola, and then Iker Baena P10 with Pablo Joglar missing out P11 on the top 10, along with Nubert Jakob, myself, Balázs Kevin, and then I believe another couple of guys behind us. So yeah, there's your lot. And to be fair, it's pretty close. The whole grid covered by about 7/10 of a second. That's how competitive, you know, the Challenger Series is. But nonetheless, that is it for qualifying. We're now going to move into the race, and we're going to see if we can try and pull something out the bag on the alternate strategy. Here we are then in the race, guys, and we are getting ready for the start of the event. And I'm going to go for the alternate strategy, which is very powerful and effective around here. So you start in the mediums, do a couple of laps, and then box for the soft tyres. I'm looking to do 2 to 3, maybe 4 laps on mediums, and then switch to the soft tyres. But here we go then. The lights are coming on. There's no formation lap, so we're underway for the race. And we get a great start off the line, getting past Pablo Jorlad off the line. Now down towards turn 1. I'm trying to get around the outside of Nubert Jakob and also Balázs Kevin getting a great start in the Alfa Romeo. Down towards turn number 3, we're going to go the long way round here. Don't quite get it right, run a bit too hot on the brakes, but we've now got the inside line through turn 4. We are going to try and get past Kevin here, but he gets a pretty decent exit and just gets in front for now. So we're still P13. We've got Pablo behind using a lot of ERS, and that's a trend you're going to see quite a lot over the next couple of laps. Is Pablo was really aggressive with his ERS use, and he really wanted to get by as there's contact. Iker Baena getting spun out in the Red Bull ahead of us, and we gain an extra place because of that. We also managed to stay ahead of Pablo through Luffield, so we're P12 now, which is decent enough, and we've gained 1 place, just trying to keep things clean. I'm also trying to get used to these new camera settings I'm running, using a straight camera rather than the offset one, because again, I feel like there's more time to find, and camera settings could be the answer for that. But heading through the SSC, I get a great run actually, really nice line, and I could have maybe tried to get past Kevin here, but it would have meant draining my entire ERS battery, which is something I don't want to do straight away on lap 1. Now, the first mistake I did make in this race was overfueling massively. I'm used to 50% races. As Kevin loses the back end, so do I. I kind of follow him in there, but luckily we do get the inside line, break nice and late. He's going to try and challenge on the inside, but we're going to hold it the long way round and make the move up to P11. So we've gained 2 places on the first lap, and like I was saying, I've overfueled massively. You'll see why later on, but I'm used to 50% races, and it really showed. But nonetheless, we've got Pablo behind us now. He's looking for a move, being quite aggressive again with his ERS use. You can see he's getting a great run and overspeeding us down towards turn 3, but luckily we managed to hold it quite nicely through 4. We get a tidy exit as well for good measure, making our way onto the Wellington straight. But again, you'll see the arrow. Pablo really going aggressive with his ERS use here, trying to make this move count. And this time he's going to go down the inside. He does lock up. I tried to get the cut back on him. And at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fight this, mate. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to lose time battling, because if we drop out of the DRS train in front of us, it's pretty much game over. So we can't be too stupid here. You know, I've got to use a bit of common sense. And if you drop out of DRS on Silverstone, you're probably going to be nowhere by the end of the race. So I let Pablo get on with it. Hopefully that way we stay within a second, and we can hopefully, you know, close up to the cars ahead who are still pulling away. At the minute though, I'm focused on myself, and the first challenge for me is making sure I'm the first car on the medium tyre strategy, which I'm not right now. I've got both AlphaTauris ahead, and I believe there's another car ahead of Norbert Jakob also on mediums. I could be wrong. So we need to make some more progress here. So I'm going to try and get back past. To my surprise, Pablo actually pits at the end of lap 2. So all that battling and overtaking was for nothing really, because if he just waited, he could have just pit this lap. In hindsight, if I'd known this, obviously I would have defended harder and just tried to stay ahead. But nonetheless, lap 3, DRS now enabled. You can see I'm using a bit of my ERS here because I need to stay within a second of Norbert Jakob, and the detection point is right here just before turn 3. So I have to go super late on the brakes. Luckily, we did just enough, and we do hold on to some crucial DRS, which was really important. Norbert is the first guy mediums right now on tracks. If I can get close to him, maybe in the pit stops we can undercut him. So here we go, end of lap 3. We're going to send it into the pit lane and go for the first stop of the race. Really good job from us as we slowed it down perfectly. It probably went a bit too slow actually. I could have pushed that a bit more. Meanwhile though, Norbert Jakob got a 5-second forced pit lane speeding, so he actually was quite slow on his pit entry, and also somehow managed to speed as well, which wasn't ideal for him. We're going to box though, a standard 2.6 stop coming up at force in online races. Soft tyres go on, and we're going to go to the end of the race now. I was hoping maybe I could have held Norbert Jakob there in the pit lane, but it wasn't to be, and he's going to be ahead of us for now. We've got Julian behind us also, so yeah, we're going to rejoin. We're going to see where Pablo Hoglad is, of course, in the other AlphaTauri as well. So let's see, getting up to speed out of the pit exit. There is Pablo, so he's got a pretty decent undercut to be fair on his own teammate, and he's going to be just ahead by the looks of it as we go to turn 3. So both AlphaTauri still ahead of us in a bit of a roadblock, but they've just flipped around in terms of the order that they're in. So the undercut working out nicely for Pablo. We've got Balazs Kevin as well behind us, who's also gone for the undercut, and he's P14. But we now move on to the end of lap 4, and Norbert gets back past his teammate, and that's going to be for P11. So yeah, at the moment, I'm just going to try and stick with these guys. I want to try and make some moves, but I've got to be realistic at the same time. I am under practice. I'm not fully up to speed here. But if I can get past Pablo Hoglad here, of course, Norbert Jakob has a 5-second time penalty. That would give us P11. And then if anything happens ahead of us, like here we go, Steffi actually, I believe that's Martin Stefanko in the pit lane. That means that if we can overtake Hoglad here, we could actually be a net P10, possibly P9, because Jan Feder has just rejoined. So if we can overtake Pablo, P9 would be absolutely fantastic, because I feel like Feder will be off the pace on those mediums. So we need to make this move stick. It's a really, really important phase of the race. And again, in hindsight, I really wish I'd defended a bit harder on his in lap because it's a bit of an annoying one, really. I know Pablo was quite low on ERS because he used so much of it against me in the first 2 laps. And you can see Fela actually having a really, really good battle with Norbert Jakob in the distance. And now Pablo's getting involved. You can see the difference when he starts to use his ERS. He starts to drain the battery. He gets a good move on him and actually a bit of contact. We're going to use that as the opportunity. And we're going to go through on the inside into Maggots and Beckett's. We're going to be on the outside through the right-hander. And we make it stick. It's a nice move. And get up to P11. Crucial overtake there because otherwise the AlphaTauris would start to get away from us. So I had to make that overtake stick. And you can see now I'm actually getting a bit of a run on Pablo here. I was trying to drain some ERS. You can see Pablo's light is flashing. So again, that's a sign that he's got no ERS left. He's less than 10%. So I know he's vulnerable, and I'm going to try and use that to my advantage. This is probably where, you know, it was my best opportunity to strike. The iron was hot, and I had to make something happen. And I wasn't able to, unfortunately. You see we set a personal best. Pace is really strong. A bunch of cars leaving the pit exit right now on the inverse strategy. So they're going to be all on mediums now. But this was it. So through turn 3 and 4, I'm not the quickest through here. And that kind of let me down, really, all race long. You'll see why later on. But here you can see I'm trying to get the traction down. I lose out quite a bit on corner exit to Pablo. I'm now draining my battery. I know he's got nothing left, and we're going to try and go for the move here as we go down towards Brooklands. We're going to go to the outside. In hindsight, again, didn't really go tight enough. I left way too much room on the inside, and that allows Pablo to stay in front. I also should have used a bit more ERS. So, yeah, not really the best overtake attempt, really. And then from this point on, the race kind of fell into a bit of a dud for me. So we got a warning for track limits at Cops, you know, for cutting the inside corner, which is fair enough. And then you can see through here, the final 3 laps were very, very repetitive. So essentially, I was a lot quicker than these guys. I had a lot more pace. And especially through the S section, you know, Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, I had a lot of straight line speed, but I just was not able to make that count for nothing. And the reason for that is because, number one, I overfueled quite a lot. Number two, I didn't make the overtake on Pablo when I had the chance, and also I didn't defend really when I should have done. And then number three, simply put, my engine was overheating like crazy. So because of problem number one, which is the overfueling, I was trying to burn fuel off. By doing that, though, I was overheating. Worth noting quickly, Jan Fela has a 3-second time penalty for track limits, so he won't be a threat anymore. So we're currently P11. If I can make this move on Pablo, we're finishing P9 here today. So this was massive for us. But like I said, the fact that I had too much fuel was a problem because I was overheating my engine quite badly, and it was stopping me from getting close enough to Pablo. Another issue as well is turns 3 and 4. So I'm not that great. You know, my sector 3 was really, really good. And onto the pit straight, I'm pretty close. But you can see here, I've got some engine overheating problems already on lap 9. And I just wasn't able to get close enough on the Wellington straight because, yeah, I just can't seem to get the pace. I seem to lose 2 tenths to absolutely everybody through turn 3 and 4 around here. And it's a big issue for me. So I've got to try and work on that, you know, not just for this, but also just in the future on this game. I lose about 2 tenths to the AI as well. So it seems to be an issue with me and the way I take the corner. So I need to try and find and discover the way to find more pace. But you can see here, every single lap was pretty much the same. Lap 12, I'm trying to push now, put some pressure on, but I make a bit of a mistake trying to push the brakes in, you know, into turn 3 to get closer to Pablo through this section. And in the end, I actually lost out massively. I had to fight back, pick up the pace to get back within a second and get back within the RS range. You can see through here how much I catch up. I was so fast through here. Last lap of the race, Pablo is already out of the RS, and I'm going to drain my battery, but unfortunately, I'm just not close enough because of that mistake I made, and also my engine's starting to overheat at this stage. So yeah, I tried to get close, and I am going to go for the Sebastian Vettel here. So into the chicane, big old send on the brakes, into the corner, and to be fair, it wasn't a terrible attempt. I probably could have made the corner actually quite comfortably, but yeah, Pablo turned in, which is fair enough. I'm not going to say he turned in on me because it was his corner. I was yeeting it from an absolute mile away, but you know, had he left a bit of room, I probably could have made the corner. So yeah, a bit of a shame, but in the end, with that spin, it's going to be P13 for us in the first race we take part in the F1 Esports Challenger Series. Worth noting, we missed out on the first 4 rounds, so we're going to be from round 5 to round 10, hopefully, and the top 6 of the championship go through to the Pro Draft. So I'll show the standings in the next race, which will be at Spa. I'll show that in a separate video, guys, because both races were pretty crazy, and I want to go into a bit of detail in these races as well. So Yeah, as you can see, you've got the final race results in the top right. In hindsight, bit of a shame today should have been P9 in that race, but again, lack of practice combined with lack of experience with 25% races, I think it cost me quite dearly. So hopefully for Spa, the next race, will be a lot more better equipped and on the pace. But guys, if you enjoyed today's video, then slap a like on it. It'd really, really help me out. Let's try and hit 1,000 likes on this video, maybe. I'm hoping it does well. If you're new to the channel and want to see more league racing / esports content, then get subscribed for that, guys. Pretty much every other day on the channel, there's some league racing content. And finally, check out the 2 videos on screen right now if you have missed them. And thanks to the members of the channel, as always, for supporting. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, take care, and this is goodbye from me.